One.
Welcome back to another episode of Genius Days. And this is our masterclass. We have an amazing group of people always talking about very intelligent topics. And this time we're talking about adopting a tribal mentality. And this is very different from, following the herd. This is very different from, just going with whatever is the norm. Creating a tribal mentality is all about really fostering a sense of connection and camaraderie between similar members of a group where they have the same ethics, the same values, the same understandings, and they can bring their skill sets together so that they can manifest faster, so that they can make more money, so that they can enhance their lifestyle, so that they can share their resources, and so that they can ultimately be a conglomerate, like a connection of people that really vibe with each other. You know what I mean? Vibe, your vibe attracts your tribe. We've heard it 1,000 times before, but it's the truth. It really is the truth. So, kick us off with the disclaimers, and then we can get right into it.
All right, y'all. There's the disclaimer. Don't be a snitch. Snitches get stitches. Number two, you're an adult. Do what is good for you, but don't point a finger and say somebody else told me to do it. All right, we're here to be guides. We're here to speak about from our experience. We're not here to change you. You're here to change yourself. And yep, don't talk shit. Otherwise, I'll cut off your tongue. All right. That's the disclaimer.
Damn,
That
Alejandro, that's brutal.
man, you
Very
know that
tribal of
gang
you.
shit. It's from
That
Matamoros, bro. It's from Matamoros, bro.
It's
different.
all apocalypto up in this beach.
Okay, so I want to kick us off, right?
Hmm.
Because there's something where our journey really begins. You know, with the chimpanzees and the bonobos, right? So the chimpanzees are known for going to war, right? Murderers, killers, savages. They kill another monkey and eat it. The bonobos, they're like they don't fight. They only eat fruit, and they're scavengers and whatnot. And what they do and what the bonobos do is one tribe of women, right? One tribe, the women are the leaders in the bonobos, right? And the tribes that will meet. And when one bonobo group meets another bonobo group, the women get together, they fuck each other, right? The dudes watch, and then eventually the dudes join, and it's like they're all fucking each other, right? Um, that shit doesn't happen with the bonobos. The bonobos, I'm sorry, my bad. That doesn't happen with the chimps. The chimpanzees is the male leads the way, right? And then there's the alpha male that gets most of the girls, and then there's the betas and the thetas, the betas and the thetas, a theta male. I don't know. I don't think that's a thing, but
I think any of those, bro. I think there's gamma, delta. We can go on, but there's
okay,
lots.
the non-alpha ones, okay, and so when two groups of chimps meet, they fight each other for dominance, and then if the one alpha male loses, that guy goes submits and goes under, and then the king, the alpha, takes all the women, and he gets the main hose, um and so why is it like this? Is because the bonobos decided, let's not fight, and instead let's be just for love. And um this is the mentality that is happening right now, right? Right now women are in power. Men have less power in this world, and if you want to prove me wrong, then go to the court. Go to the court and and ask for permission to see your kids from the woman that don't want you doesn't want you to go see your own kids, right? It's difficult. It's a difficult thing. So right now it's the woman who has the power, and the female mindset is going for entire world unity, right? They want healthcare. They want every single person in the world to have healthcare. Universal healthcare is what they call it, right? So they want us to help everyone in the entire world. But we can't do that shit, right? We genuinely can't. Because that would deplete us by a lot. So this is why we're having this conversation right now of returning back to the tribal mentality, the tribal mindset, and being for your group, being down for your group, right? Being down only for your group, right? That's what should happen, right? I'm about to pass the mic. Well, last thing I want to say is you want to do something about what's going on here on Earth. Ask yourself, if I put all my time, resources, and energy, money into this, can I fix it somehow? Will it make a big impact in this? And if the answer is no, then it means it's not worth your time, money, energy, resources. Right? If you cannot make a big impact with everything you got, don't do it. Right? You can't. Don't go around trying to heal, end poverty. That's not gonna happen. Because not first, what needs to happen is not about giving your money to people who don't even know how to make money, who are gonna spend it, who have bad money habits. That's why they're there most of the time. I'm not gonna say all of them, but 100%, you can get out of poverty if you have the right money mindset, money habits. But we cannot have that aspect of a universal income for everyone. That's an aspect as well that's trying to for this universal self. So we cannot help everybody. Okay, help your own people. I'll pass it on to Ryan.
That was fantastic, Alejandro. I love it. Absolutely love it. Why? Because I as well believe that if you're going to make change in this world, going big is not the way to start. It all starts with, or all leadership starts with self leadership, but also that directly correlates with self reliance. Can I demonstrate my strengths, my power, my prowess, my expertise by first being self reliant, which also leads me to quote, man, you can't sell what you don't have. Because that makes you untrustworthy. That makes you a charlatan. That makes you a con man. As Scripps said a long time ago, it's not just about the confidence, it's about demonstrating what you can do for yourself, and that attracts things to you. And you were talking about, the money management aspect. That's a fantastic example because if you look at other people and you get inspired by those who know how to manage their money well, you start to see the patterns because success leaves clues. And thus, get into contact with them, you build a group, and thus you have a tribe that's about those values because you stand behind them. And it only takes one of us, one man, one woman, one person to stand up and keep showing up daily. Not just for the tribe, because the tribe is more of something that comes along the way, but it shows up for him or herself. Is him versus himself. I mean, Gay David Goggins is a fantastic example of that. For the first 2 years on Instagram, the only thing he was doing was, as far as I know, motivational speaking and training like a motherfucker. Right? Johnny, welcome to the call. And thus you get these things, but he demonstrated power. He demonstrated self-reliance. He demonstrated self-leadership. He made himself accountable. I mean, even we all, to a certain extent, by doing these cold shower routines and simply posting about it, we've inspired people either to just do the cold showers or to go even further and actually do the Wim Hof method. I had my old professor from the university decide to go, you know what, I need to fix my health and be about this cold shower shit. Scripts, I want to know your perspectives on tribal leadership and more.
Mm, yeah, man. So this is an incredible topic because it brings in a lot of different areas and elements, right? It brings in psychology, it brings in, social dynamics, it brings in, group dynamics, and it's just a lot of different, areas coming together at once. So it's a nice blend of a topic. So the first thing, let's start with the basics. So what do we need in order to have a tribe? We need a group, we need a leader, and we need an idea, right? If we don't have a leader or a group or an idea, it's going to be quite difficult to start a tribe or at least get a tribe moving forward in the specific direction or the energy that you want. And you want to be clear in what you stand for, right? The values that you have in the tribe. So let's look at an example of like, I don't know, let's say a brand like, I don't know, McDonald's, right? Like they have a very specific brand and they cater to a very specific audience, right? You're not gonna find like McDonald's like using sports imagery with people skiing and shit. Like you're gonna be like, what? Like that has nothing to do with McDonald's. Like what are you guys doing, right? So that disconnect, I think, or that connect is a big part of tribe. So when you feel connected to others in the group, there is this upward spiral that takes over. That's almost like the group mind, right? People call it the hive mind, but it's like the group mind, where everybody on that group, or let's say you're in a soccer team or something, right? You have a group mind in a sense, right? The coach sets up a frame, and then you, as a player, adopts that frame or steps into that frame, and you end up winning or you end up losing, right? So there are these things called finite games, which is like war or politics or sports, but then there's also infinite games, right? Infinite game would be like art or love or peak performance, right? These things are like more infinite games because there's no specific set rules, winner, loser in that sense. Of course, you would, some would argue and say, yeah, there are losers for people who don't get the resources, right? Because in evolution, you have two things. One is resources, and the other is passing on those resources to the next generation. Like biologically speaking, I mean, that's what we're here for from that standpoint. However, yeah, I just wanted to bring into this space the understanding that, yeah, it starts from that human need that we're all social creatures and we need to belong. We need to belong to something. And so, understanding that belonging, we also know that, okay, we need a space where we feel appreciated, where we feel heard, where we communicate clearly, where there's not like people going against the tribe and like backstabbing and like, going behind the back and all this kind of stuff, right? So making sure that the rules are in place and understand the rules of the game of the tribe that you set up. And also understanding that, your marketing, your branding, your personality, your vibe, all this kind of stuff, it just comes down to being on code, right? Being like staying true to your own brand message and your own ideas, right? So to build a tribe online, even, I've noticed that it's very important to come back to the core teachings or the core understandings of that tribe. And you'll notice people do this like on Instagram. Let's say they'll like post a picture of like something random that has nothing to do with their brand. Now, if this is your personal page, by all means, go for it. You know what I mean? Like, post whatever you want. But if it's a business page and you post like, a selfie with you and like, a new crystal you bought, and you're like or like, I don't know, a multi-million dollar business, like it's gonna be like, okay, that's random, right? It has nothing to do with your brand in that sense. However, if you purely enjoy that, and if it's a crystal business, then it's aligned, right? It's aligned with the brand. So You know how people show like close friends on Instagram, right? Where this is like green little border thing where they post a bunch of stuff where they feel like, okay, this is more of an intimate experience. I'm not going to share this with the world, but I'm going to share it with my tribe. So I think that that green orb, you could say, or like aura around that uh, person, I think it's an important advocate for this tribal mentality, right? Because you're creating your sacred small circle and you're sharing with those people. So I just wanted to bring that up. What do you guys think?
It's funny you should say the word aligned, Scripts, because I do believe in the whole alignment between the actual business owner with his own business and, of course, the teams and departments within it. You see that as well, because if we as a team, as a business, as an organization are not on the same page, thus not aligned, or face, the true north, where we're really going, our true objective. And of course, we'll both A, get in each other's way, we get frustrated, we get angry at each other for no reason, and then another company comes in, steals our clients, takes away our star employees, which we've seen many times, and at some point even buys the whole company from under us. And then we lose the whole tribe. And this is very similar what happens in the jungle. Because how many times haven't we seen at least a few documentaries on bonobos being absolutely bodied by chimpanzees? Because the moment these two meet, we're very sure who's going to win. Because often, and it's almost hilarious when you look back at, our own past, own personal past, how our career or personal life and maybe more aspects than we even realize reflect nature, thus reflecting the tribal in all of us. Rimas, welcome to the call. Alejandro, scripts, thoughts.
I got you, bro. So let's bring this into consciousness for a second, right? Now, there's many maps of consciousness, and the map that we're gonna focus on right now is called spiral dynamics, right? Now, in spiral dynamics, the first stage is is the stage of it's called beige, and it's where babies are at, where they don't care about anything else but themselves because they can't even take care of themselves, right? So they can only care, but they can't try to focus on helping the mom or the dad. They're like, I need help, I need attention. Same with, there's some homeless people who are here as well, right? And then second stage, right? That's has to do with entering the tribe now, right? Now you're a part of the group. You're a part of you're in, and if it's good for you but not good for everyone, then it's not good at all. It needs to you when you're at this level of consciousness, everybody needs to benefit, right? And then level 3, you split from the group and again you're an individual, right? And in this stage, this is the stage of looking for power, right? Now you'll see a lot of a James Bond super villain. This is where he's at. He's like, power for me. Don't give a fuck about nobody else, right? Then moving up, right? We go back into the group, right? And we want to be for the communities. We want to be. This is the reason why we're practically safe going everywhere. That's not really true, but you can go shopping and you're not gonna think, oh, I'm gonna get robbed today. You know, or you can walk in the street and you're gonna feel comfortable. You can go to the park, you're gonna feel comfortable, right? Because this is where societal norms come in, right? this is where we get, if like the whole country is practicing Christianity, so we're all, or everyone's Muslim here, right? So we're all sort of good. The problem with the stage, you're very you're very stiff in your thinking. There's not a lot of wiggle room. So some good examples can be like small Texas towns where, like, everyone knows each other, everybody's good. No, there's not like a murders are going down all the time. Everyone's Christian, they pull up to church, but they're just very stiff in their thinking. They're not super open minded, right? And then we go up, and at this stage we are more free, we are more open, we have a more open mind, right? And this is where you're more open to things like, healing. You're more open to the understanding of God, what God is. You're way more connected to what God is, because you're open to receiving what the truth is, right? There is no ultimate truth. In the other levels, you're like, there's an ultimate truth, right? With the when you get to the top of these of this consciousness level, you're like, there is no ultimate truth, right? And at this level is where we bring all of them together, right? We have to integrate all of these levels together, right? And so this is what must be done within the tribe for it to be a high vibrational tribe, right? For it to be a conscious tribe, right? Because of course we do need to have group think established in the tribe, right? That needs to happen there. But we also need to have conscious people to say, hey, okay, let me double check on that. Why are we doing it all together? Not just blindly going with the group, right? And also, we do need to benefit ourselves individually, right? But we also need to make sure that we're not damaging other people in the group from our benefit, right? So we're all benefiting, right? These are some of the aspects that have to get taken into account. Some of the consciousness things that you have to see in other people. Can they belong to my group? Because if they're not able to be open-minded enough, if they're too closed-minded to new changes that happen within the group as we continue to evolve, right? Because in the other levels, you're not really growing, right? You sort of get to a point, you plateau, you're safe there, you're chill, you know. It's like you go from like working class to middle class, and you're like, okay, I'm chilling, you know. That's what tends to happen here. uh but of course, in our group and the people we want to associate ourselves with, we want to be constantly, we want to getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Can this person take that on, right? Are they willing to even take that on? Because that is so important. You gotta be careful. Sometimes I want to hang out with people, that I used to hang out with, just to hang out. But then I remember, hey, man, these people, they don't got it, man. And I know it's gonna affect me. It's not gonna be very good for me. I'm gonna absorb that energy. Whether you want to or not, you're gonna get affected by somebody's energy. Whether you want to or not. It's not, it doesn't come down to choice. It just comes down to proximity. Go be around a depressed person all day, bro. It's gonna get to you at some point, right? It's impossible for it to not affect you, right? So I want to pass on the mic to somebody else, or anybody who wants to say something. Someone in the audience, even.
I'll say something. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, brother.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I like what you're saying about how everyone in the group benefits. Because I think about the fact that we're social pack animals, and it's almost like nature has made it so that when we do our part for the pack, everyone else is going to naturally benefit. And you can have different positions in the pack or in the group or in the team, that you could say. Just like not everyone needs to be a manager of a sports team, but the defender or the attacker or the person in the midfield or whatever, everyone has an important part to play. And it's almost like you can see the parallels with friendship groups. You can see the parallels with wider society. Every section, every person has a part to play. And as long as we use our individual talents, we express our individual identities, it will benefit other people. It will benefit ourselves, but it will also benefit other people. And you can see the same thing in terms of business. People like to get onto billionaires and millionaires and say, "Oh my God, they just hoard the money and all of that stuff," but they don't realize that um, they've created a group that benefits the employees too, because they wouldn't have a job without the billionaire. People get onto Jeff Bezos, but he has created so many jobs, it's ridiculous. So I think what it comes down to is that nature, universe, or whatever you want to call it, has made it so that when we're a part of a tribe and we play our part, we're going to benefit everyone else. And when they do that, it will also benefit us. That's what I have to say on that.
Amazing, brother. Yeah, I really resonate with what you said there. And yeah, just that understanding of the common good. That's something that comes up for me as well in terms of what you said, Ivan, in terms of, the spiral dynamic stuff. I find that so fascinating that, the first level is like that beige survival mode, right? Where we're kind of like these loose strands, kind of just like going about our own worlds. But then we get into a feeling of safety of the container, right? As you rise above to purple, and then you rise up. So it's the loose bands to the tribes, to the empires, to the pyramid, to the delegative, to the egalitarian, and it just keeps going, right? The power structure just keeps forming like that. And so that second level is like that tribal mentality, which is very animalistic, right? Um, it's very mystical as well, I would say, in the sense of like, being able to connect to nature and the planet and things like that. So yeah, that second to third level, or however you said it, from the tribe to the individual. I mean, it's interesting how you said it went from rigidity to a more of a flexibility. And I'm reminded of group flow state. So I'm speaking from my own practice of helping people get into the flow. There's something called group flow, right? So environmental flow triggers are, for example, the common good example. We have to have clear shared goals. So if we don't have a shared goal, it's going to be really problematic in terms of getting to that outcome as a group together. So that's actually creates more momentum in the group if we all share a common goal, right? Like for instance, AZD is trying to get 300 millionaires, right? That's a common goal. So now we have more energy behind that momentum to actually start to create that and make that happen, right? When that is introduced, that umbrella term. So the other thing is familiarity, right? So if you feel familiar to people, it's like that kinship, it's like brothers and sisters. Like you feel familiar to them, you feel some kind of a bonding to them, which can't really be explained by just, ideas or concepts. There is some kind of a very genetic thing happening, or like an oxytocin taking place of like these emotions and love and pheromones and all these kinds of things are taking place right in that group dynamic too. So just to consider that familiarity, and to assume familiarity when you meet somebody new. I always do this. I always assume that I know them from like 7 years or something. So my delivery is very different in terms of that, and that creates much more rapport, that creates much more connection, rather than just saying, "Oh yeah, hey, how's it going?" And of course, that's not overdoing it as well. But assuming familiarity creates that container of safety, which you can then build on that tribe. And the last thing I want to mention is equal skill and participation level, right? Like try putting two teams head to head, where one is an expert and one is a beginner. It's gonna be like a landslide, right? Victory. So it's not going to be entertaining. It's not going to be very it's not going to bring people into that state of performance, right? It's going to bring people towards, okay, I'm not giving my all and I'm not at that skill level. So there's going to be this disconnect there. So in the group, you want to make sure that, you have an equal participation and an equal skill level so that you can grow together and expand that tribe much greater than if somebody's just like a beginner. And that's why I think in the AZD process, which is great, you have a beast level 1, and you get introduced to that, the core fundamentals of that, and then you go through the process, right? And what that does is it creates that structure very well to be able to merge into the group, um, the action and awareness merging together to create that group dynamic. So yeah, they're just sharing that in terms of tribal mentality and creating that group flow.
Yeah, so there's a communication tactic that I want to give everybody. And whoever's read my book, it's in there. You've already gone through it. What this is whenever there's a conflict in the group. Hey, Ryan, you just got it. Hey, take a selfie with it, bro, so I can post it. Oh yeah. Anyway, so there's a line that says, so when there's conflict, if you want to resolve this conflict, right, which in your group you generally do, you don't want to leave open circles. You want to close the circles. So what I say to the other person when I'm having a disagreement is what is your goal, right? What is your goal behind what you're standing for, what you're saying? What is the intention? What do you want to accomplish from this, right? And if you can both get on the same goal, then you can uh, finish the circle and close the gap, and you don't have to have the argument anymore because you understand why the other person is saying what they're saying, right? Because you could be arguing with the person, you don't know what their intention is, right? And so the mind wants to make something up so they can understand something. Instead of trying to figure it out, trying to mind read, just ask the person, what's your goal? What's your goal with this? Where are you trying to go with this? Why are you saying these things? What do you want out of this? Right. The second thing I want to mention is on is the golden rule. You guys know the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Listen, fuck that rule, right? That rule doesn't work in the real world. That rule only works with your tribe, because in your tribe you have the same values, right? So you going about your fucking life, right? This is what I said. I said this. I was like, as a kid, they told me to treat others the way I want to be treated. I still got lied to. I still got cheated on. I still got humiliated, right? I still got shamed, right? I still got hit. That didn't stop them. That didn't me treating them the way I wanted to be treated did not stop people from being bad to me. It just didn't. Right? But in my group, it wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen because, well, we're following the same values, right? And you cannot go about thinking that everyone has the same values, and this whole idea of universalness just does not work. It does not work. This country's taking so much pride in having so many different cultures at their university or whatever. And the problem is, some of these people are really not going to get along. They're really not going to get along because their values are just so different, right? And what made America great? Well, and the what united? How is it that so many cultures have come here and succeeded? Is because of similar values, right? They're Judeo-Christian values that were established that created America, and we were going off of these values, and that's why we're so strong, right? But then they try to unite everybody, right? And if you're not uniting everybody, then you're called racist, right? But that's totally not true. You just have, like, let's just say when Trump banned people from coming in, ban Muslims. They call it the Muslim ban. It was not a Muslim ban, right? Because if it was a Muslim ban, they would have also banned Egypt, which is like the biggest country that has the most amount of Muslims. But the real reason is because we're fucking bombing these countries, and we don't want them to fucking come over here and be a goddamn freedom fighter and blow up our own citizens. That's exactly why we're doing it. We're trying to protect our own tribe. We're trying to protect our own people. We wanted to put a border. We wanted to put a wall at the border. Why? Because you know what? It helps. It helps not traffic fucking kids through the goddamn border. We need to protect our tribe. We need to protect our people. But now we're trying to. The world is pushing for a borderless world, one without boundaries. We need boundaries. They're so important. They're so important. I know the reason we don't that we need a boundary with Mexico is because they're just not socioeconomically advanced enough yet. Because if they were, I know there wouldn't be a problem because they would have money. They wouldn't come if they're coming here, they're taking our resources. They're taking our taxes, right? Because they don't have enough to give back, right? It's the same as hanging out with that one person who never got money, that person who don't got a car, that person who's always asking for a ride, the person who's always asking for something. You're always going to end up empty from that person. So you don't want to associate or be around that person until they get their shit together, right? And so that's that's how other tribes can work with other tribes is when if you can see that they got their shit together too. Just like here, Genius Days, this is what it is. We all come from different tribes. There's a lot of different tribes that pull up here, right? But we all get along because we see that we all got our shit together, right? Y'all agree? Y'all agree? Nice. Say 10x. Say 10x if you agree. I like to pass the mic.
Bro, just one thing I want to say about that whole golden rule thing, man. I'm glad you brought that up, man. That's such a conventional wisdom that a lot of people just internalize that. It's like sort of saying that you are the closest of the five people. It's like, why is it five? Why not four or like six? But it's like, it's so common that we know it is five that like that becomes the number that sticks. You know what I mean? And then we just start following it like blindly without recognizing it. It has nothing to do
What
with
do
the
you
number.
mean, bro? I'm kind of confused. What you're talking about? Number five? Five what?
So they say that you're the closest of the five people surrounding you, right? And so why does it have to be five? Why not six or like seven or like four? You know what I mean? But it's like that's the trendy number, right, of the closest five. And so because Stephen Covey or whoever said that, right, we just adopt that idea, right? And everybody knows it as this kind of conventional idea, right? Um, I guess it's slightly unconventional for people who haven't read personal development books. However, it's still a kind of a conventional idea, right? So treat others how you wish to be treated. There's one problem with that. Um, what if I don't want to be treated like you? Straight up, you know what I mean? Like fundamentally, people are different, right? So individuals are going to have unique wants, right? Unique desires. So if treat others how we want to be treated, what if the treatment, how I define the treatment is different from how you define treatment? Then it starts to create conflict.
Bro, some BDSM ass bitch pulls up on you. She starts slapping the fuck out of you. What the
Yeah,
fuck are you doing, bitch?
yeah, yeah, man. Great, fantastic. So, yeah, man, just coming back to the idea of like the whole shared values thing, I think is really important. And what you said also about boundaries is also equally important because we need boundaries. We just need them to be. We have firm boundaries and boundaries that have conviction and that we know that we can't deny, right? Like there are certain things which you can't deny. You're like, okay, I am a man. Like I am from India, right? I'm like I can't deny that. Those are facts, right? So it's like creating the boundaries from those, like an understanding that okay, now there might be a boundary for you that's a little bit more like a different texture, the way I describe it, right? So one boundary might be like adamantium, like diamond, you can't break through it, like impenetrable, right? It's just like a force that cannot be reckoned with. It's just like it's there. It's like a stable foundation. Then there's another boundary that might be more like a, like a wooden boundary. And then there might be another boundary which is like a styrofoam boundary, So like just according to the different levels of boundaries that are there's some boundaries that are more lenient. They're going to be more lenient than others, right? So to understand that boundaries aren't created just so they're like, oh, I'm like putting down my foot. It's not like that. It's like you can also have loving boundaries, right? You could have like a loving confrontation with someone that's like coming from that level of care. Hey, I care about you. That's why I'm bringing it up. And that's why I have to set this boundary. Because otherwise we'll be in chaos and we'll both be confused and we won't know where we're actually headed to or where we're going, right? I see Freedom Rangers is here. Johnny, man, I want to know what you think about this topic, man, and about tribes. If you can hear me, you can hear us. Uh, would love your input, brother.
Mainly my internet.
Yeah, bro. I was talking with Johnny Freedom Ranger yesterday, and his internet is shit. He got shit internet.
Hey, that's cool, man. I'm gonna fix it today, man. I'm gonna upgrade back on my 25 gigabyte plan. I was trying to be cheap this month, so I downgraded, but I'm gonna fix that today.
For real, man. I've learned that lesson as well. You have to have at least internet. You don't even fucking need to have a phone line. Even internet is where it's at. Anyway, yo. By the way, I just wanted to say we're at the time, and I think Ryan wanted to say something. So I think if you still want to say, it, you should go ahead and say it.
Yeah, we can end it on that. We need to build our own tribe, and it's like building a system. Make it work. Help people. Help ourselves. If they win, we win, and we don't have to treat the outside world with the same respect we treat our tribe, but we can be civil. That's all. I would like to end it on that. Alejandro, scripts, anything?
Yeah, I just want to give a quick message. It's kind of an important message. So me and Sumedh are doing an event, and I just want to kind of give y'all a little bit, little know-how because I think you guys are really gonna want to attend. I want to give you. I drew something here just to give a good idea. Okay. All right. Let's see. You can see this. Can you read
Ryan,
it?
could you pin the post so we can all see?
Let me see. Okay. So we're going through triangles. The triangle is the most strong shape that we have access to, right? So this is why we're going to go through a struggle, find the truth, and change. We're gonna identify the problem. We're gonna isolate it, right? It's a big problem. We're gonna pinpoint exactly what the fuck needs to go down and then resolve it. And finally, we're going to be looking at our past, present, and future. All right. And so we're going off of a 4-step process, right? And the first step is the past that brought you here, right? What was the past that brought you here, right? Number 2 is what's the here, right? Where are you now? Step number 3 is where do you want to go? And step number 4 is the integration of it all. Bring it into you, right? So we're going to be focusing on you creating your archetype, right? From the ground up, right? And we're going to be looking at the past that shaped you and we're going to reframe the past. Anything that's not serving you, we're going to reframe that into something that's more powerful. We're going to alchemize our timeline. And finally, in the integration, we're going to be shifting timelines. After we essentially, what we're doing is we're creating our whole character as if we were some sort of writer, as if we're creating a literal movie out of our own life. We're going to create a real movie out of our own life, and then we're going to jump into that movie through the integration of these thoughts into the body. We're going to bring the thoughts into the body, and we're going to jump timelines. There's going to be a 3-day event. AZD is going to be speaking there. And if you guys want to learn more, talk to us, send us a message, right? And we can get you signed up. It's going to be fucking dope as hell. If you have any questions, let us know. You know where to find us. And that's the message.
Boom. All right. Awesome, man. Thank you guys so much for attending. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you, and may you never be the same again. Salute, brothers.
Hey, chakra workouts after this.